guys, I am Dana K. White of aslobcomesclean.com, the blog and the podcast and all that other stuff. I'm also the author of the book, How to Manage Your Home Without Losing Your Mind. Okay, that's available wherever books are sold. We're going to talk today a little bit about something because, you know, I'm living it out right now, and so I thought, why not make a video? Let me put my little gloves on because it's something a little bit gross. Anyway, we are talking about a really major decluttering concept, principle, strategy, rule that, like, some people are born knowing, and I personally am not born knowing, and that is the 1 in, 1 out rule. I had heard this rule before. I had seen other people around me when I was listening to a speaker one time go, when she said, just use the 1 in, 1 out rule. And I was like, I had no earthly clue what she was talking about. So I'm gonna tell you what she was talking about, because when I finally understood this rule, I was like, oh, well, you know, that makes a big difference. If you are like me and you declutter, and this is what used to happen to me, okay? I would declutter and then life would keep happening, and I'd be like, okay, it just went straight back to being super duper cluttered, and I'm just shoving things in, and it had to turn into another decluttering project. This right here, the 1 in, 1 out rule, is the thing that will keep a decluttering project from just completely like losing all of the success that you had when you first did the project. I'm trying to smile more, okay. Anyway, so here is the deal. So, okay, the 1 in, 1 out rule is basically what it says, but I'll explain it for people like me. If you're super organized, go watch some other video because this is not for you. Here's the thing. I didn't used to understand that there were limits, okay? I didn't understand that, this sounds ridiculous, but anyway, that bringing so much stuff into my home and not equally getting rid of stuff was what was causing the craziness, okay? So I have in this, I have chapters about this. I have chapters about the container concept. I have posts on my blog, so you don't have to buy anything, whatever, if you don't want to, but go. I explain the container concept. It's a big deal. Basically what it means is a container is meant to contain, meaning it limits the number of things that I can have in a space. Not only a container like the cutesy kind that you buy in the store, but I don't know, like a drawer. Okay, so here's the example I give all the time. When I heard the 1 in, 1 out rule, somebody was saying something about socks. And I remember thinking in my head, because the person was like, oh, well, just, you know, get rid of a pair of socks when you get a new pair of socks so that you're perfectly fine. And I thought that was stupid. I'll just be honest, because I was like, what difference would it make to get rid of a pair of socks when I get a new one? Because I mean, my sock drawer won't close anyway, so how would that make a difference? And that was kind of the point, is it wouldn't make a difference for me because I was not accepting that the size of my sock drawer was the limit to the number of socks that I could keep. Right? I know, kind of shocking. Anyway, like I said, if you're organized, go on somewhere else. Anyway, but that was a huge moment for me, was realizing, oh, I can't just keep everything. It's not about keeping everything and finding a way to put it up. So it's accepting the limits of my spaces that I have, my containers, my drawers, my shelves, and ultimately my entire house, okay, is accepting that we can't have a whole lot of stuff in our house and it stay under control, you know? And so when it gets under control, the key is to not bring more stuff in, or if you have to bring stuff in, which is what made me think about this today, instead of worrying about like, you know, okay, where am I gonna put this new pair of shoes? Instead go, okay, well, what old pair of shoes can I get rid of? And then I automatically have a place for my new pair of shoes, right? It was completely not natural to me. So, but here's how my brain works. So I was in CVS and their summer stuff was 75% off. And I was like, 75% off? Well, obviously I need something from here. So I started looking at their flip-flops, and they had silver flip-flops. See, it's got like a little sparkly thing. And I went, you know what? These might not be like the silver flip-flops that I would love, but for $250, I need some silver flip-flops, because I actually did need silver flip-flops. I live in Texas, and so after Labor Day, people get all about you wearing white shoes after Labor Day. Anyway, sometimes I do it. I'm just like, who cares? Anyway, but so silver is like my little thing that I feel like, okay, I'm just gonna wear silver, so it's not really white. Anyway, so I needed silver flip-flops because we're gonna be wearing flip-flops for several more months here. Anyway, I needed them because my old silver flip-flops were nasty. And I knew they were nasty. You want to see how nasty they are? This is the reason, well, the other ones too, because I wore them. This is the reason why I have gloves on. This is my old silver flip-flop. Look, you can even, I don't even know what that might be. But yeah, it's pretty, see, look. But do you know what happened in my brain when I brought my new silver flip-flops home? Yeah, I was like, okay, well now I have 2 pairs of silver flip-flops. Even though I bought these specifically for $250, yeah, good deal. But I bought them because I was like, well, I need a new pair of silver flip-flops because my old ones are gross. But my little mentality is naturally that, well, these old ones, technically, I mean, they're flopping more than they're flipping. Because this is weird, but they're not technically broken and completely unusable. So in a total pinch, I might, no, okay? That is where the 1 in, 1 out rule is a rule that helps me combat that normal, like, oh, well, I'll just go ahead and keep, look at that. Look how it's like worn down over here. And I even wore these for something not too long ago, and I was kind of embarrassed because I was like, these are in really bad shape. Anyway, so that 1 in, 1 out rule was like, oh, that's how normal people whose homes just stay naturally under control, that's how they operate. They get a new pair of silver flip-flops and they're like, oh, well then that means I get rid of my old silver flip-flops. Like, great. Anyway, I know. If you kept on watching this, I warned you not to if you were organized. And you're going, seriously, how do people not know this? But I am telling you, this is a game changer, okay? This is something. It's that idea of 1 in, 1 out. It's the idea of replacing things. If you are at a point like I am, where the vast majority of stuff in our home, we pretty much have what we need. I mean, we try to be grateful because realistically, I mean, there are a lot of people right now who have just had everything lost. And you know, I try to be mindful of the fact that we have everything we need. I mean, come on. But when I have that, it's like I have to maintain this balance. So if something new comes in, something else needs to leave, okay? And that is how, once my house is at this place, what I call I'm living under my clutter threshold, read the book, you know, if you don't know what that is. But if I'm living under my clutter threshold, then how do I stay under my clutter threshold? When something new comes in, something old goes out. It doesn't have to be silver flip-flops for silver flip-flops. It has to be amount of space this new thing is going to take up for amount of space this old thing is going to take up, okay, or took up, right? For example, you know, I do have kids that are getting older and they're I mean, kids change like nonstop, right? Okay, so you know, kids are into something new, or they need new things, or they're a different size, whatever. It's not always the exact 1 in, 1 out, the exact same item. It's, well, if we're gonna bring in hockey equipment, let's say that this kid is gonna do hockey now, well then something in our house that took up the amount of space that hockey equipment needs, that thing something else has to leave our house. It might be, oh, you know what? I guess now that I think about it, we don't really need, this is me making this up like out of nowhere. You know what? Now that I think about it, we've got a, you know, a cabinet over there full of VHS tapes. And we don't have a VHS player anymore, and I don't think they make them anymore. And so it's like, oh, okay, well, something has to leave my house to make room for this new thing that comes in. Because what I used to do is just bring the new thing in because we needed it, and then go, I don't know, it's like one more thing's gonna make my house explode. This is how you keep it from doing that. Thanks for joining me. I'm gonna try to do videos more often. I hope you'll subscribe so that you will find them. You can also go to islobcomesclean.com/newsletter and get onto my newsletter. and then you will get whatever I'm doing coming out. So thanks for joining me today. I'm gonna take my little nasty, sweaty, hot gloves off. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Don't forget to get the book. It's an audio form if you need it that way. All right, bye.